Hey everyone! Well, we're here, and we're back for another anti-MLM video, and for this video we will be talking about Arbonne. So as you can see, I am in a new setup. This is either temporary, could be permanent. Don't be surprised if I change some stuff around. Also, the lighting may be a little weird. I'll have to see how it is when I'm editing the video, because unfortunately when I moved, my studio lights got broken. So I am just using natural light, which is usually the best light to use, but I just don't know if I'm getting enough natural light right now, so I may have to invest in some new studio lights, which is not the end of the world. But for right now, for probably the next few videos, I will just have to see if this will work. As long as you can see me and see the evolutions, I think we're good, right? I think we're all okay. The video we will be reacting to is an Arbonne team call, and it is just a typical team call where they are trying to inspire the downlines to become the best leader that they can be, because of course if they have good leaders on their team, then they make more money, because that means if you're a good leader, that word is relative, it usually just means that you are recruiting a lot and maybe selling a lot, but those two go hand in hand. It definitely means that you are recruiting a lot, ranking up, which benefits the uplines. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you really, really like it, please subscribe. Make sure to check out my description below for all my fun links. I have links to my Patreon, my channel members, my social media accounts, and my anti-MLM playlist, which has over 160 videos at this point. And with all of that said, let's get started.
Okay, hi everyone. So my name is, if I haven't met you in person, I'm so excited to squeeze you in real life whenever that is. I give really good hugs. Who's giving me a hug? I give really good hugs. Okay, so guys, today, first of all, if you're on here, you're in Kelly Juni's nation, Sandy and Wade's nation, Brianna Bosenko's nation, Kaylin Kukuska's nation, Margot Lloyd's nation, or Brooklyn Powell's nation. Guys, that's 6 different national vice presidents. That's a lot. So you're in one of our nations, and we all gather on this call, and we talk about, we typically do like a skills training this first 30 minutes every Monday. And then that's like setting the intention for your week and giving you something to focus on or think about. So guys, today, what I want to focus on with all of you is mindset, because the truth is this business lives in your head. So if you're a pen and paper gal like me, maybe you'll write some of this down as things come up for you.
A lot of them will do that. They'll say, you need to write this down, or I hope you wrote this down. And I don't know if it's like they genuinely believe that they're giving unique, never heard before information, or it's a way to like make people feel like they are doing something important for their business. Yes, writing down maybe what you hear in these calls can be helpful, but in reality, all of it is just get out there and recruit. So I don't know if there's really a lot of new information that can be told every single week in these team calls. I mean, it's all just redundant. It's, every single one of any team call that we do a reaction to pretty much are all the same, unless there's like a specific topic, maybe. Like it's like maybe more money focused, or it's mindset focused, or it's time management focused. Like in that way, like it's obviously more like tailored to that. But in reality, it doesn't matter what MLM it is. They are all the same. Every single team call is the same. If she didn't say Arbonne, she could have said any other MLM, and nobody would really question it, because that information, whatever information she is going to say, will work for any and every MLM out there.
Or maybe you're typing out your notes, whatever it is. But I want to encourage you, when you pop on these calls, to be really mindful and intentional with your time and treat this like a business meeting, right? Like we're all popping on from different corners of the world.
I understand her logic. Also, it's to get people in the mindset of business. But here's the difference between business meetings that happen in like the corporate world or any other world besides MLM. Those people get paid to sit and listen and be a part of these calls. people who are jumping on these calls to get this information, it's all for free, it's all on their time. But if they don't get on these calls, then it means they're not taking their business seriously, they don't care, they're being selfish, they're not here for the team. It's all a mind game.
And learning from each other, right? So how could you be more intentional with this time? I think for me, taking notes is huge. I have binders of notes from all the calls I've been on the last 4 years since I've been in Arbonne. Those little nuggets you take from different trainers are so powerful, and you'll be able to use them as you train your team moving forward, right? So before I dive into some of the mindset stuff, I want to briefly recap a few things. So my Arbonne story started 4 years ago.
Of course, we have to get the story. It wouldn't be a team, but actually, I feel like it's been a while since we've done a reaction to a team call where they told us their story. So this is something that happens all the time, but maybe something that they're not doing as frequently in every team call.
And at the time, as I share this, my story is not typical. www.earnings.arbonne.com. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. Guys, at the time,
it should be something that they say because it's well, one, it is something they have to do, but maybe don't treat it as a nuisance that you have to say it. It's like, that's something that is, you have to, because yeah, your earnings are not typical. I'll put the Arbonne income disclosure statement right here. As we can see, most people don't earn money unless you are in the top 1-2%. And it seems like a lot of times when they have to say, like, go to earnings.arbonne.com or Sensi or Color Street, whatever it is, they roll their eyes at the fact that they have to say that. Like, it's like, oh my god, I have to, like, show people that a lot of people don't make money. And that could be why they're annoyed that they have to say it, because they know that it looks bad. Because it looks bad. And it looks bad for a reason. It looks bad for a reason because it's the reality of what MLMs are. All of this fancy, make it look pretty, make it sound pretty, look at my life on Instagram, and don't you want this? That's just a facade. And maybe your life is that great and wonderful. I doubt it. People fake things all the time on social media. But when you look at the income disclosure statements, that's the reality of MLMs. But of course, they don't want you to look at that. They don't want you to really see the reality.
When I started my Arbonne business, I honestly craved what Arbonne had to offer, but I was not believing that I could ever build a business with this. There was this huge limiting belief that I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not worthy. Who would ever follow me? I'm not a good leader. People are going to make fun of me. I'm scared of what my friends and family. Is any of this resonating? Has anyone felt some of these? If so, type yes in the chat. I don't know if I'll ever be like those people, those people at the top of the company, I'm not anything like them. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of yeses, right? Okay, I felt all of that too. And if I'm being completely honest, I still feel that sometimes. Guys, that doesn't change with any title. It doesn't go away. I still have limiting beliefs. I still have negative self-talk. I still have things that limit me and make me feel small. And so oftentimes when we train on something, it's because we need it ourselves. So literally 2 hours ago, it's felt like 2 years. It's been a wild day, guys. I've already recorded 2 podcasts, been on three-way calls today. It's been very in high demand over here. But anyway, 2 hours ago, I was texting in the multi-nation chat with the other NVPs I just mentioned. And I was like, whoa, we don't have anything planned for today on the call. And I'm like, it's okay. I'll talk about mindset. And I have zero plan, and I'm just going to flow with it, because literally I'm the best when I flow, because I don't know, it's just what is on my heart. So I did set an intention. So my intention.
There's nothing wrong with that and wanting to just speak personally, and maybe it does make them come off more authentic. But so far, stating, have you ever felt like your friends and family would make fun of you and you're not like those other people, very generic things, but it works in the MLM world, because of course when you list 7 different things that are obvious, when, arguably, yes, starting a business, but of course in an MLM, you're going to check off somebody's box when you list generic things when it comes to that. Something that they have heard over and over and over and over and over again in MLMs, and things that people talk about, like, what if this, what if that, I feel about this. So again, generic, and maybe it is best to go in with a plan when it comes to things like this, because people are wanting to learn from you, and just sharing your experience, maybe that is what people have come for. But I would feel, for me personally, if I go into these calls, if I am taking time out of my day, I want there to be something. I want there to be something that she says. I want to learn from her, because she's the top, right? Like, she has the answers, supposedly. She knows how to do this. I want to hear what exactly she did. I don't want to hear that she felt the same way I did. Of course, everybody feels the same way at some point about something. And even if she's lying, great lie, I doubt she is. I mean, maybe she is. I don't know. Because again, if you come off relatable to everyone, then people will, of course, be more interested in what you have to say than if you were like, yeah, I didn't care about any of that. I never felt that way. You are isolating yourself from the majority. So when it comes to top leaders, they have to be relatable to literally everybody out there, because they want everyone to join underneath them. I hope that made sense. I think that it did. But yeah, basically, I would want there to be like a topic and her to follow and be like, here's my instructions on what I did, follow this. And yes, I felt the same way along the way as you did. Like, that's what I would want. I wouldn't want to sit there, listen to her story, listen to generic things of like, everybody feels this way. Like, yes, I'm aware that everybody feels this way. I'm aware that I'm not the unique case in this. I get that everyone feels this way. So lead me in a direction to get out of that. Tell me what I need to do. That's what these calls should be. I shouldn't sit on this call for half an hour, get off, and feel like I got nothing out of it besides like, I should be more motivated. Something like that.
For today's call, and I want you to write this down if you can, because I'm going to keep coming back to this. There's a few things. There's going to be two. I'm going to start with this one. What would you attempt if you knew that you could not fail? I want you to write that down. In life, like, what would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? I'd love to see it in the chat. I want to start hearing from you guys. If you knew you couldn't fail, if you knew like you were going to succeed, what would you attempt?
Playing the lottery. If I knew that I wouldn't lose, I would play the lottery. That's why I don't play the lottery, because the statistics are horrible. Same thing with gambling. Like, that's why, well, I don't gamble for a lot of reasons. But a lot of it is like, I don't like the feeling of losing money, so I don't do that. So if I knew I couldn't fail, I would do those things.
I think so often we limit ourselves because we are scared and we're full of fear. And what happens when we remove the fear? Your greatness comes out, right? The other question I want you to focus on, and you hear us say this all the time, if you keep doing what you're doing right now in every facet of your life, in your relationship, in the way you talk to yourself, maybe you're a parent, in the way that you mother or you father, in the way that you eat, in your health, in your finances, like in every area of your life, if you keep doing what you're doing, where will you be in 5 years? When I was first asked that question, when I first popped on a discovery call in Arbonne like 4 years ago, I literally felt a pit in my stomach, and I could cry even thinking it, because I'm such a huge empath. Because it scared me. Like, man, if I keep doing what I'm doing, where I will be in 5 years is not where I want to be. And the truth is, guys, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want your life to look different in 5 years from now, heck, in 1 year from now, you have to make changes, right? It is so.
This is good general life advice, but it's not really good MLM, leader advice, because again, you could be working You could decide today, I'm gonna try and recruit 3 people a week by talking to 15 people a day and going from there. Well, if you don't recruit those 3 people, which is not at all in your control, then you feel let down. You feel like you let yourself down. And it's not you. It's not you. Like, if you owned your own business and you said, I want to make more money in the month of November, I'll just take this month for example, then I will put more items up on my Etsy store, or I will make double the amount of digital downloads that I typically do. I will take on more clients than I normally do. I will take on, more Uber Eats jobs. I will try and do more. That's in your control. You have control over how many items are in your storefront. You have control over how many, what is it called? I was going to call it Patreon. It's called, Postmates. No, the other one. Instacart. All of those, except for Patreon. But yeah, I guess Patreon too, depending on what you do over there. But again, those are all in your control. You can decide, I normally do X amount of hours Uber Eats, I'm going to double that. Or I'm going to work on Tuesdays when I typically take those off because I want a little bit of extra money. Those things are in your control. If you want to make more money in an MLM, you have to rank up. And to do that, you have to have people sign up underneath you. You don't have control over that aspect. And I get it. You could also say, well, you don't have control if people buy more from you on your Etsy shop. That's true, but you could also go out to craft fairs and, you get a lot more eyes on you. You could also promote yourself more on Instagram, and that could lead to something. I think Etsy does promotions and things like that. There are ways that are in your control that are not bothering strangers in their DMs. Those are completely different things. So as much as this is good advice, when it comes to an MLM, yeah, it sounds nice, but those things are out of your control because the majority of the thing you have to do in MLMs is recruit. It's not even about the selling.
So easy to get into victim mentality and get in the mindset of, especially if you've been in this business for a while, well, my business is down ever since 2020. It's so different. Or like, my paychecks changed a lot, or like I lost a title, or my key player left my team, or, people are leaving for other companies and blah, blah, blah. Guys, your business, your team, your paycheck, your title is a physical representation, a physical manifestation of your thoughts. And
wow, that is a super manipulative way of all of that. Because yeah, if people are leaving, if you had it really well, like really, decently well in Arbonne, but then people are leaving, that's out of your control. You've now deranked, again, out of your control. And for her to say that's a manifestation of your thoughts or whatever she said, that's not at all true. That makes it, well, that's on you. That's your fault. People left your team. That's your fault that you are upset about that. That's your fault that you're upset that you've lost money. That's on you. It's constant with MLMs of blaming the individual for thinking any sort of negative thoughts when they are realistic thoughts of probably like, a bunch of people have left. Maybe I should start thinking about leaving too. But no, that's a bad thing. That's a bad mindset to have when you're in an MLM.
Not gonna lie, I've been in a spot too where my business is down, right? Like the morale's down, the energy's down, my paycheck's down. Like, it's different than it once was. And you know what? That's because of me. Like, I have to change something in me. So I had to have a very real conversation with myself, and I had it together, and I reflect on it like privately in my brain too, about like what's different. Like when my business was freaking booming, where I literally like could not physically launch like enough people in 1 week. Like there's only one and there's 50 people launching this week. Like how do I do this? Like, what was I doing back then? What was different? And guys, the theme I see, it comes back to mindset. I was, and this is what works for me. It might not work for everybody, but for me, when I was moving and shaking and like on freaking fire in my business, I was waking up early. I was doing things that fill my cup. Like I literally would not look at my phone for like the first hour or two of the day. because how can I pour into my team? How can I pour into all of you when I have nothing to pour? When my cup is empty, literally nothing comes out. So I have to fill my cup first, right? When I was waking up early, when I was meditating, or maybe for you, that's prayer or your devotional or listening to worship music or something that fills your cup. What is it? How do you start your day? When I was lighting a candle, when I was drinking my hot tizzy, when I was writing out my intentions for the day, right? What do I want to accomplish today? What do I want to feel by the end of today? Right? When I was writing what I was grateful for, when I was saying my affirmations, like truly like looking at myself in the mirror and being like, you are a leader worth following. Trust your intuition. Your intuition always knows the way. Like when I was talking to myself in such an amazingly positive, uplifting way, and something I've learned in this business is, 80% of your time should be on your personal business and 20% should be on your team, like especially as you grow in your leadership. And what I realized is, wow, that's gotten flipped. Like I realized the shift I need to get back to is 80% back on my personal business and my mindset and what fills my cup. Somewhere along the way, it's gotten flipped where 80% of my time is on my team and 20% of my time is on me. And I love you guys and I'm always going to pour into you guys. And I need to pour into me first. And so I hope this is resonating. If it's resonating, give me an emoji or a thumbs up or something. But what can you do to pour into you, right? Like, what can you do for you? What can you do that like fills your soul, that makes you feel on fire? And not even just in your business, guys, but in your life, in your relationship, in your marriage, in your friendships, in anything. Like what, they say like a 1% or a 1-inch shift at the bottom of the ocean floor is what creates a tsunami. A 1-inch shift, like think about 1 inch. A 1-inch shift on the bottom of the ocean floor creates a tsunami. What is the 1-inch shift that you need to have? Like, what is it? I want you to journal on that. I want you to really
probably realistically looking inwards on your MLM business and seeing if you are profiting, seeing if the amount of time that you are putting into this, the amount of time and energy that you are spending, time, energy, and money into this business, is it giving back to you? Honestly, anything. And a lot of people could say like, well, I got some amazing friendships out of it. And that is great. That is great. But the fact that you had to pay a starter kit cost, you have to keep, putting money into this business in order to keep those friendships. You can find friendships for free or in some other adventure that you want to do that is not an MLM. The majority of people, if you were to get out, they may or may not still want to even talk to you and keep you in the, what is it called? The circle, the tribe, whatever they want to call themselves. They are closed from the inside and they only let you in if you are putting money into it. That's not a friendship.
think like, man, like, am I spending too much time like worrying about what other people think of me? Am I spending too much time on social media? Am I not spending enough time doing things that I know I should be doing, like reading?
I understand her logic, and I think it works for her because she's so high up in Arbonne. But people who are just starting out, they do have to spend a lot of time on social media, like the pictures and the stories and the talking to strangers online. They have to be on social media a lot, and if they do have potential recruits, they have to be talking to them. They have to be pouring all of this energy. They don't really have the time to step back and spend hours a day fulfilling their cup. They have to be doing it towards the business, and because maybe their upline's telling them to do it, or because they want to be, changing by an inch or whatever. So they're like, okay, that means I have to be talking to more people. I have to be posting on social media more. So it's this really weird back and forth of spend more time on yourself, really look at yourself, but also you want to change how things are looking right now, which would mean that you need to be posting more on social media, talking to people more on social media. So it's like, really, one extreme or the other.
Like doing things that build my belief in this business. What are the things that I'm avoiding? Because as you've heard me say, the magic lies in the work that you're avoiding. So whatever it is that you're avoiding, I realized, guys, since becoming a mom almost a year ago, I used to literally be not used to be, but things change when you become a mom, right? But when I first started my Arbonne business, I was a freaking magnet. Anything my upline told me to do, I did it. Anything my upline told me, like, okay, this is the next step. I was so scared. I'd be like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I just did it. I did the reach out. Oh my God, my phone is across the room. I just threw it. I'm terrified. I don't know if they're going to respond. Oh my gosh, like so much fear, but like excitement, like kind of like took over me because I was just like, I trust them. All these people are where I want to be. They're living, breathing proof that if they can do it, I can do it, right? And one of the things they told me to do was like have a morning routine, wake up early, say your affirmations, like speak life over your business, build your belief. Like your business is as big as your belief. If your business feels tiny and like not booming, I've been there, it's because your belief is tiny, right? We got to work on your belief. And the cool thing is that can change today. You can turn up the dial on that, right? So something I love to think of is like, wow, when you look at all the, and it's not just about titles, that doesn't matter, but for the sake of Arbonne and like whatever success looks like to you, like let's say you look at all the national vice presidents in Arbonne. I don't know the exact number of national vice presidents. It's somewhere, I think, between like 500 and 600 national vice presidents. That's a lot of proof that this works, right? From all different backgrounds, from all different upbringings, from all different educations, socioeconomic backgrounds, races, everyone.
It would be more impressive if you told me how many people in general are in Arbonne, and then you say 500 to 600 people are approved, but that's just the 1% of the company that does it, and then you should probably turn around and say, well, those are the 500 to 600 people who really pushed, went forward, and actually tried. And it's like you're telling me that the rest of the people who actually tried didn't actually try, and it was their fault all along. It's just like, I get it. I understand where she's going for, is that look at how many people have done it and you want to be just like them. They have different circumstances, I'm guessing, where they maybe got in at the beginning. They may have had a very large group of friends. They may have had something that really pushed them forward in the MLM, not someone who is a stay-at-home mom who doesn't have any friends and doesn't really have a big family who can support them and love them, because that's a big part of it. Is they would say, well, sell to your friends and family first, get your friends and family involved. But if you don't have that, it's really hard to get a start doing that. And then especially if you are shy or introverted and you feel very uncomfortable getting out there and talking to people, then that also is going to be very hard on the individual to succeed, because they say all the time, you can be introverted, this is perfect for introverts because you don't have to leave the house and you don't have to talk to people in person. I get that, and yes, there is, I guess, a level of more comfortableness doing it through a screen, but there's still a level of uncomfortableness where, like, I feel uncomfortable asking the stranger to do exactly what I do, especially when I just started. I don't know how this is. So there are a lot of factors that stop people from getting to the top. Also, MLM and the structure, they don't want everybody to get to the top. They want majority to stay down here and just be investing and constantly changing and flowing, just putting money into the business. That's what they want. They want the people to believe that they can reach the 1% and stay in and keep putting money into the business and keep attempting to recruit and keep saying, oh, it's only my mindset that's keeping me from the top. No, it's the MLM that's keeping you from the top.
It's different. Everyone has a different story. And if those 500 or 600 people can do it, why can't you?
I think I just gave a great example.
Like literally, why can't you? I wasn't born better at Arbonne. Bree wasn't born better at Arbonne. Kelly wasn't born better at Arbonne. Brooklyn, Margot, none of, like, Wade, Kelly, they weren't born better at Arbonne, guys. We've heard more no's than you. That's literally the only difference. And something I want to remind you is the outside world does not know the difference between an independent consultant, a district manager, an area manager, a regional vice president, an NVP, an ENVP. No one knows that.
That absolutely accurate. Your little fancy terminology names, yeah, they're just words, like, especially in, like, Beachbody, or what is it called now? It's just called Body now. Diamond and Ruby and Double Diamond or whatever. It's like, they're just words. They don't really mean anything, and she's absolutely right in that way. But of course, when you first start any business, you don't really have a lot of knowledge of it, so it doesn't matter what your title is. You're going to feel a little more apprehensive about getting out there and trying to sell something or recruit somebody into it when you don't have all the information that you probably should have to feel comfortable doing those things.
They all look at us like, oh, that's an Arbonne person, right? So own it. People don't know the difference between you and me. And if you're a brand new person, if this is your very first call, or if they look at Kelly Junie and they're like, oh my God, she's been doing this for 7 years. She has the best energy. She actually says she can sell product to a homeless person. Like, people don't know the difference. So just own it. Get rid of the title doesn't matter. Your paycheck doesn't matter. Your number one teammate leaving for another company, that doesn't matter. Guys, you are in the right place. Arbonne literally is, like, I'm saying this with full confidence in every fiber of my being and every cell in my body. Arbonne is the best. There's nothing that compares with Arbonne. Like, literally, and I like study network marketing. We study other companies. We study other comp plans. It is history over hype.
You're saying you're like no other network marketing company out there. You are a health and wellness MLM, so you're pretty similar to Beachbody or It Works, or I just did kind of recently a reaction to Pure Romance, and I talked about how they're now getting into the health and wellness side where they have a kit that you do 21 days of something, so it's similar to Arbonne's. I forget what it's called, but it's like $400 and it's like a 30-day rejuvenate your whole life something. I don't know. It's 30 days and you spend $400. I know that. Which is similar to also Beachbody's 21-day fix. So you are similar to other MLMs out there. There is actually so many health and wellness MLMs that really focus on the whole weight loss aspect or changing your body and giving you the vitamins and minerals and macros and all of that. You are one of many out there, and I understand that you being an Arbonne, of course you're going to say that because whatever MLM they are in is the best MLM of all time. They all say that, and then they'll switch to another one. They'll be like, no, actually, this one's the best one. So it's interesting that you said history over hype, and that's exactly what we talk about in other aspects where it's like, well, see, right now is the best time to get into Arbonne because we have so much history, we've been around for so long, and then another MLM will say like, oh, well, no, we're the best one because it's best to get in at the ground up, and we're just starting, and you can be a part of this right at the beginning. It's all dependent on the MLM and just whatever somebody wants to say to get people involved. They don't necessarily care about the product and all and the history and all of that. They just want people to sign up underneath them, and whatever they have to say to get them to do that, they will do that. And another thing, arguably, it is the compensation plan, because I think that if you were to sell a product and you get a pretty good commission off of that, and you get a pretty good commission off of team sales as well, I think that plays a very big part in what MLMs people join.
Type it in the chat. History over hype. Arbonne's been around for 4 decades, 42 years, guys. Most network marketing companies don't make it past their 10-year mark. A lot of companies that might be distracting you on social media or other people you might be seeing like hopping from one thing to the next, guys, I bet you those companies won't be there. And that's not talking badly about other companies. There are other great companies out there. There is nothing that compares to Arbonne.
If she's really going for this history over hype idea, then shouldn't everybody just join Amway? Because Amway is the oldest MLM out there.
Guys, we are a certified B Corp. If you don't know what that is, I really want you to look into that. We have 42 years of history. We are a Swiss-based company. We are in several multi-billion-dollar industries. We aren't just in skincare. We aren't just in hair care. We aren't just in nutrition. We aren't just in baby care. We aren't just in makeup. We have it all. We are people's one-stop shop for all of their beauty, health, and wellness needs. How can you truly lean into your consultant title and start consulting from your heart right? Be a heart-led leader. How can you truly start consulting your clients and consulting your team in a way of what are their needs? What are their pain points? What do they need? As consultants, we are paid problem solvers. If you don't solve a lot of problems, you don't make a lot of money. That's true. If you solve a lot of problems, you can make a lot of money. How can you start thinking, this isn't about me and my goals and my paycheck and my title? How can you start becoming obsessed with everyone else's goals? When you have a client come to you that's like, I only poop every 10 days, like TMI, but people say that to us, right? Okay, let's dig into that. Like,
then go to your doctor. Do not go to your local Arbonne lady. Don't do that.
Like, what are you eating? How much water do you drink? Walk me through your typical day.
You're not a doctor. You have no degree. You are some random person who paid a starter kit cost. And that is what is dangerous about these health and wellness MLMs, is that they either just are lying their way through, or they have this weird actual belief that they can help people and that they're at the status of a doctor. And that is dangerous. If you have questions about your health, then go to a doctor, go to a professional. Don't trust some random person who joined an MLM. That can be dangerous. These products could be dangerous for whatever issue you have. You are not sure. That's why you go to doctor to find out. But I know that there are some professionals who do join MLMs and then they use that to get people to believe them and trust them, and then they sign up as well because they're like, well, my doctor told me that it changed their life, and then it did change my life, and I don't know if it's a mindset and it did change their life or it's not real. I don't know, but that is what is dangerous about these MLMs, is that they believe they have the answer in the products that they have, but they are just trying to sell you these products because they make money off of it. That is the main thing. They're not maybe some people are genuinely trying to help you. I can't say all are not. But when there is a financial reason for promoting these products, it becomes less about the caring about you and more about just wanting to make money.
Okay, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna consult you through this. We're gonna walk you through some food mapping and figure out what's going on, because I've dealt with that myself. And that's probably because we need to figure out what foods are irritating you. So you become obsessed with their problem, right? And it might be trial and error. It's not a one size fits all that works for everybody, right? But it's probably like the Green Gut Glow is probably going to help them. The 30 Days to Healthy Living or the Healthy Habit Set probably going to help them, right? Maybe cutting out inflammatory things for 30 days, pressing pause on gluten or dairy, probably going to help them. So that's like a health example, right? Let's say someone comes to you and it's like, hey, my wife just lost her job and we were a 2-income family and we literally need to make an extra $1,500 a month to survive. And I don't know like how we're going to do that. Like I might have to pick up a night shift. She might have to, get a waitressing job or whatever. Okay. Lean into that. Ask them questions. Like, okay, what's your idea?
That is taking advantage of people. If oh my God, because then, no, it's just sad, because this is a reality for some people, that they do go to people in MLMs for health advice about something going on with them, and they do believe that this MLM can be the answer to their financial struggle. And for some people, of course it is, because again, the scam has to work for people to fall for the scam. So the scam has to have people who are successful, and you have to see a little bit of success, which a lot of people I think do in the beginning, and that is mainly through recruiting to their friends and family. So it's just taking advantage of people who need help in some sort of aspect of their life.
Like walk me through like what she was doing. What's your ideal schedule?
Because needing to make $1,500 a month, if we look at the income disclosure statement again, we see that it took people almost 2 years to make less than $10,000 in a year. That's not $1,500 a month. That's not even $1,000 a month. So that is not what they even need. And they probably don't have 2 years to make this work. This is something that they need to happen kind of immediately. And for some people, maybe it can, but the chances of them making $1,500 in the MLM within a few months is very, very, very low. And they probably could have made more money focusing their energy and focusing their money on literally anything else.
How long would you be willing to, do like take on something new until to build up to that? Like if you knew that this could work for you and I'd coach you and take you under my wing and you could.
But you don't know. You don't know. They say it will, but you don't know.
Into these team calls and we could come up with an action plan where you could create an extra $1,500 a month. How long would you be willing to do that, to build that, right? Like, are you speaking about people's problems with such conviction and declaring over them, like, I can help you, that people want to follow you, right? People want to follow people that know where they're going. If you're a little bit directionless about your business, it's probably no shock that maybe people aren't flocking to you. But if you are clear about what you're doing, what you're creating, people will come flocking to you, right? We have 100%.
There are so many people out there who I know have put everything into their MLM and tried so hard and doing everything that all of these team calls tell them to do, and then they're not seeing that return, and that's going to weigh on them and that's going to affect them and stuff like this. It's like, well, you're not putting out the right energy, and no matter how much positivity and how much belief and how much all of it they try, and they're still not doing it. And the answer is to, like, well, be more positive and try harder. God, no wonder these people just, it's so sad. They just take advantage of people and they just say the same thing, and then it's like, if they're not seeing the results that are promised, they're let down and they feel kind of bad about themselves because they are told, well, it's your fault.
Proof. Look at those 5 to 6 international vice presidents, right? We have 100% proof. The people making an impact, the people making money in this company, the people who stay in this company and don't give up and don't get distracted and quit because their paycheck dropped or it's just not the same as it once was or blah, blah, blah. Those people thrive in this business, right? Guys, the only way to fail in this business is to quit. Like, it's all about the long game. It's all about, like, sticking it out. And like anything in life, it ebbs and flows.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people don't have the time to sit and wait and hope that it works out.
An analogy earlier, texted it to me. I'm like, let me see what it says. I thought it was so good. Used an analogy earlier that I felt was so powerful. He said, empowering the ebbs and flows and seasons are a natural part of life. And after a contraction, like the last 2 years, there is an expansion. Think about giving birth. Think about like how your body goes through contractions and expansions and contractions and expansions. And your body is literally working to help that baby move its way out of your body. Our business does that too. Guys, it contracts and it expands. Think about the ocean. Waves are big and then they crash and then it pulls back and there's another wave and it crashes. That's our business too. So we need to embrace the parts that feel hard. We need to lean into the things that maybe feel like they're lacking or missing. We need to lean on our community, right? It's so easy to look at a network marketing company or Arbonne and think of it like just as a company. But guys, Arbonne is so much more than a company. It is a culture. It is a community. It is a movement. Like, Arbonne is so much bigger than any just one of us. And so when we come together, there's so much power in that. How can we be more united? How can we be more focused on what we do want to create in our business, in our life, in our mindset, right? So I want to come back to this. What would you attempt if you knew you could not fail?
Same thing as before. Your analogies and your words have not changed me into being like, you know what? I want to join an MLM.
You'd probably do that scary reach out right after this call, right? You'd probably follow up with that person that has left you unread the last 3 times, right? You'd probably host that event. You'd probably go live on Instagram after this and share your Arbonne story and where you're going. You'd probably do the scary things, right? So the thing is, like, when you think about faith, when you think about believing in something that you can't see, it's all about like having this knowing that it's there for you, even when it feels invisible. How are you sharing Arbonne today? Like, how are you sharing it, right? There's so many different ways to do it. Please don't get caught up that social media is the only way to do it. Social media is an incredible way to do it. But guys, to me, like, I always think of this, the best way to connect with people is belly to belly, in-person connection, or like, you know, virtual, whatever, but like the one-on-one. Take it off of Instagram, get on the FaceTime, get on the Zoom, meet up for coffee, like get to know your people, hear them, ask better questions, know what's on their heart, know what they're praying for, know what they're looking for. Arbonne isn't for everybody, but it can be for anybody. But we don't know that unless we explore that, right?
Unless you find something to use against them and manipulate them to get them to join, because you have all the answers.
So I hope this inspired you. I hope you maybe are thinking about your business a little bit differently and knowing like, man, I have to get out of my own way. Like, I'm overthinking this. Like, Arbonne isn't rocket science, guys. We do two things. We share the products and we share the business. That's it. There's no emergencies in Arbonne. Like, it's pretty simple what we do. There's so many creative ways that you can do those two things, right? So how can you lean into things that make you uncomfortable? How can you do more of the things that scare you? And I want everyone to know, like, your upline, your sidelines, your team, like, we're here to support you. We are accessible. You can call me, you can text me, you can slide into my DMs. We can pop on Zoom. I want to get to know you guys. I'm here to help you. So I hope this inspired you. I hope you know that you are not an independent consultant to just be an independent consultant. Like, you starting this business is because you can achieve so much more. So I hope you believe that. I hope you know that. And I think that's all I have for today. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Happy Monday. Oh my gosh, there's 117 chats. I'll have to look at that later. But I think that's it for today, babe. Is there any housekeeping I need to talk about? No, I just spoke from the heart. Okay, guys, I love you all, and I wish you a beautiful day. That wraps it today. Bye.
Bye, Arbonne lady. Well, that was something. I feel like that was just a very long motivational speech about why Arbonne is the greatest thing in the world and will change your life, and you have limiting beliefs because it's your fault, and the reason why you're not successful is because of your thoughts. And again, like I said earlier, you can be the most positive person. You can go forward with this and want this to work so bad. But if all the outside sources, all of them are telling you no, basically, that's not in your control and that's not your fault. But then you go to your upline, you say, well, people keep saying no to me, and they're like, well, I've heard more no's than you, so keep going. That's not a great way to go about it. And a lot of people, for legitimate reasons, don't like the word no. But then they're also taught to not, that no doesn't exist, I guess. Like, don't listen to it. And I mean, like she said earlier, like, you're gonna go and you're gonna talk to the person who's been ghosting you for the last 3 chats. Why would you keep talking to somebody who clearly does not want to respond back? That is a complete waste of the independent consultant's time. I'm not going to waste my time trying so hard to get someone that won't even talk to me to do what I need to join. It's just a waste of time. And I feel like with MLMs, it's just you are constantly putting so much energy into stuff that does not even give you 1% of energy back. Just like how you probably will not ever see the 1% of being in the top of an MLM. That's very, very unlikely unless you join the MLM at the beginning, you have a bunch of friends and family, or you just are some anomaly unicorn. Not everybody can make it to the top 1%, because if that was the case, it wouldn't be the top 1%. Alright, you guys, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you really, really liked it, please subscribe. I really hope the lighting was okay. The sun started moving as I was recording this, so I hope it should be okay. If not, I'll get some studio lights. Like I said, not a big deal, but this is what we're working with. Let me know what you think of the background, anything I should add, anything I should take away, anything. Just your thoughts and opinions about my background and thoughts and opinions on everything Arbonne. And until my next video, I will see you guys then. Bye!